That was dangerous.
In the twilight, a white person moved, a fruit-knife healing skin of fate.
Today, once again, a man has changed his shape and turned into a stick.
Just a couple of feet closer, and it would have finished me.
Which she supposes the accident. When something hits you, or when you miss it.
How should I know?
The moon, the color of dirty chromium plate, looks down, and the streets are swirling.
Today, once again, a man has turned into a stick and vanished.
Hey, what's that rhythm you're tapping?
Try and guess.
Look! I'm sure that kid was the culprit. Isn't he cute? I'll bet he's still in grade school. He must have been playing on the roof.
Damn rats, I hate them all.
Oh, it's dangerous when he's sitting over the edge like that. I'm sure he's ashamed now that he's done it. It seems like he's trying to see something. But I can't find you.
He's probably disappointed nobody got hurt. So now he's cursing us instead.
That's not so. The child saw me fall. He's calling me.
I know what it is. That rhythm. This is a song, isn't it? All you need is love. La, 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 la. Was I wrong?
It's always been my principle to respect other people's tastes.
The moon is forgotten. In the sky the color cement, and the stick lies forgotten, down in the gutter.
The stick lies forgotten in the gutter. The streets from above form a whirlpool. A boy is searching for his vanished father.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me if we happened to arrive exactly where we intended.
The time is precisely 22 minutes
On
and
the
10 seconds. I wonder, could that be the stick?
If it is, we've got a most peculiar obstacle in our path.
Say, pal, where'd you get that stick?
Lying in the gutter, wasn't it?
It fell from the roof. We had a hairbreadth escape.
I knew it. Sir, it was this stick, as I suspected.
Sorry to bother you, but would you mind handing me that stick?
I'm sure you've no use for it especially.
I'm not so sure about that.
We're making a survey, a little investigation.
From the police?
No, not exactly.
But you're not too far off.
Liars! You're the ones who threw the stick at us, and now you're trying to suppress the evidence. Think I'm going to play your game? Fat chance.
If you really suspect us, I'd be glad to go with you to the police station.
Don't try to wheedle your way around me.
You know, I thought it was that kid from before. He's not there anymore.
Yes, there was a child, wasn't there? Up there on the roof. Leaning over the railing, you heard him calling for his father. In a shy, numb little voice.
How am I supposed to hear him? The average noise level in this part of town is supposed to be over 120 decibels on an average.
Sir, shall I verify the circumstances at the scene?
Yes, I suppose, but don't waste too much time over it.
There's no need. I can hear everything. In the grimy little office behind the stairs marked for store employees only. My son
It's kind of hard to explain, but the fact is, we have been entrusted for the time being with the custodianship of that stick. I'd wish you'd somehow try to understand.
I don't understand nothing.
This is the age of the generation gap. We're alienated.
The child is lodging a complaint. He says I turned into a stick and dropped from the roof.
Well, let me ask you a simple question. What do you intend to use the stick for? I'm sure you haven't got any particular aim in mind.
Not interested in names.
That's right. Aims are out of date.
Exactly. Aims don't amount to a hill of beans, so why can't you just let me at it? It isn't doing you any good. All it is a stick of wood. But concerning us, it is a valuable item of evidence pertaining to a certain person.
But one should have a few. People don't have enough.
Enough what?
Aims.
You're making too much of nothing. It's bad for your health to want something that doesn't exist. The uncertainty you feel at the fact that you have no aims, your mental anguish at The feeling that you've lost track of any aims you once had. They're more proof that you're there, in that particular spot, than any aim I can think of. That's true, isn't it?
How about a kiss, huh?
I don't feel like it.
You don't have to put on such airs with me.
I don't want to.
Come on.
I told you, lay off the euphoria.
Scratch my back.
Your back?
To the left. That's right. There.
Now you scratch mine.
You don't need it from the heart. Is this the right place?
Yes, there, and everywhere else.
Everywhere?
Oh, feels like I haven't had a bath in quite some time.
You egoist.
Look, my friend, I'm willing to make a deal with you. How much will you charge for letting me have that stick?
$1.
$1? For a stick of wood like that?
Forget it, not even for $2.
Find any number of sticks just like that one if you really want to.
$1 will keep you in cigarettes for a while.
Me and the stick, we understand each other. Don't know why.
You look alike. A remarkable resemblance.
So we look alike, do we, me and the stick? We got any brothers and sisters?
Younger sister.
What was her name for you? You must have been known as something. A nickname, maybe?
You mean the way she called me?
Precisely.
Mosquito.
What does Gaga mean?
Mosquito. No, that's what my brother called me. My sister was. She called me Mosquito.
I'm asking what Gaga is.
Mosquito. That's what my sister called me.
What does Gaga mean?
You don't know what Gaga is?
Has it got something to do with mosquitoes?
Yes, but it's very complicated.
Excuse me, but
Yesterday, there was a funeral at the haberdashery across the street.
Yes, but what does it have to do with any of these people?
But what about Gaga and mosquito?
wasn't it Gargar rather than Gaga?
She died.
Who died?
My sister.
What happened to her?
She became a corpse, naturally.
Of course. That's not surprising.
That's why I don't get anything anymore. Everything is wrapped in riddles.
What, for instance?
Was it Gaga? A Gaga.
You're just plain stupid.
By the way, in reference to this stick, she says you look like it. Let's suppose for the moment you do look like this stick. The meaning is not what you think it is.
Tomorrow, people will be calling tomorrow today.
For example, your mental distinguishment for that stick is basically...
I see. Once a human hand grabs something, there's no telling what it can do.
I'm just grabbing it. It's too awful to think that the day after tomorrow will always be tomorrow, even hundreds of years from now.
Sir,
Well, what happened?
we have to hurry.
This crazy bunch. I offered them a stick for the dollar for the stick, but they refused to part with it.
Sir, the child is coming.
What for?
As soon as I entered the department store, they are making an announcement about a lost child. He seemed to have raised quite a rumpus. He claimed he saw his father fall off the roof and turn into a stick, but nobody seemed to believe him.
Of course not.
And then he gave the matron the slip and ran out to look for his father.
I was leaning against the railing at the time, the one that runs between the ducts and the air conditioning system. I was looking down at the streets with nothing in particular on my mind. It's a whole whirlpool. It's all just one big whirlpool.
What happened?
I was looking down when my boy came up, pestering me for a dime so that he could look out of a telescope for 3 minutes. And then it happened. my body turned into a stick and sailed out into the air. I hadn't the least intention of running away from my child or anything like that, but I turned into a stick? Why should this have happened? Why did this happen to me?
What's the matter anyway?
It twitched like a dying fish.
That's not possible. You're imagining things.
Sir, the child is almost here. Look!
He seems to
Look, sir, look!
He seems to be gradually coming closer.
I can hear his footsteps bouncing like a little rubber ball, shredding their way through the rumblings of the earth, shaking under the weight of a million people.
Somehow those guys give me the creeps. You should make some sort of deal with them.
I can't figure it out, but I don't like it. That stick looks too much like me.
Not a lot like you, just a little.
$5. What do you say?
$5?
He doesn't have to stand on me. I'm already soaked from lying in the gutter. I'll be lucky if I don't catch it.
I'm not going to force you if you don't want it.
Sir, the child is almost here.
I'm selling it because I don't want to sell it. That's a contradiction of circumstances. Do you follow me?
That's right. He's selling it because he doesn't want to. Do you understand?
All right, I guess. Here you are. But I'll tell you one thing, my friend. You may think you've struck a clever bargain, but one of these days you'll find out. It wasn't just a stick you sold, but yourself.
It's the generation gap.
Well, that was a close one.
Earth duty isn't easy, is it?
It was a good experience for your first day of on-the-job training.
I was on tenterhooks, I can tell you. Look! Sir, the child.
Doesn't matter. There was nothing I could have done anyway.
Well, that was a close shave.
But you know, I almost feel sorry for him.
Sympathy has no place in our profession. Well, let's get cracking. That crazy interruption has certainly played havoc with our schedule.
I didn't realize how late it was.
It's perfect for your first day. Now, to make your report in exactly the order you learned.
Yes, sir. The first thing I notice is that a distinction can be made between the top half and the bottom half of the stick. The top half seems to be broken off, whereas the bottom half seems to be covered with dirt and grease from human hands. From this I can infer that this stick was not always lying in the gutter, but at one point served some particular human purpose.
That's
But
obvious,
the
isn't
poor
it?
thing seems to have
Drove
suffered
everyone.
rather harsh treatment. There are
Excellent.
scratches all over it.
Excellent. But what do you mean by calling it a poor thing? I'm afraid your mind has been somewhat infected by human ideas.
Infected by human ideas.
We in hell have a different approach. To our way of thinking, this stick, which has undergone every kind of abuse until its whole body is covered with scars, never running away, never being discouraged, should be called a capable and faithful stick.
But even a monkey can make a stick do as he likes. Surely a human being with the same qualities would be simple-minded.
That's precisely what I meant when I called it capable and faithful. A stick can lead a blind man. It could also train a dog. As a lever, it can move heavy objects, and it can be used to thrash an enemy. In short, the stick is the root and source of all tools.
But with the same stick, I can beat you and you can beat me back.
Isn't that what faithfulness means? A stick remains a stick, no matter how it's used.
But what you're saying is too miserable.
All it boils down to is that a living stick has turned into a dead stick, right? Sentimentality is forbidden to Earth Duty personnel. Now continue with your report. What's the matter? I want the main points of your report.
Yes. Next, I shall telephone headquarters and inform them of the exact time and location of the disappearance of the person in question. Then I shall decide on the punishment and register the variety and disposition.
And what decision have you made on the punishment? Surely there can be no doubt in your mind. A simple case like this.
Sir, I rather enjoy wandering around in the specimen room, but I don't seem to recall ever having seen any specimens of a stick.
There aren't any, of course.
So it is a rare case.
Now calm down and just think. I realize this is your first day of on-the-job training, but it's quite disturbing to hear something so wide off the mark. The fact that something isn't in the specimen room doesn't necessarily mean it's so rare. On the contrary.
It's because sticks are so common.
Exactly. In the last 20 or 30 years, the percentage of sticks has steadily gone up. Why, I understand that in extreme cases, 98.4% of all people who die within a given month turn into sticks.
Yes, I remember now. So, it will be okay for me to leave the stick as it was in its lifetime with no particular punishment.
Now you're on the right track.
So all I need to do is inform headquarters of the variety and disposition. No punishment is necessary.
Do you remember what it says in our textbook? They who came up for judgment and were not judged have turned into sticks and filled the earth. The earth has become a grave of rotten sticks, and the master has departed. That's why the shortage of help in hell has never been especially acute.
Now, shall I telephone headquarters?
I'll show you how it's done just this first time. Hello, headquarters. This is MC Training Squad on Earth duty.
Roger. Headquarters here.
Request verification of certification number MC621. I repeat, MC621.
MC621. Roger.
No punishment. Registration unnecessary. The time was 22 minutes and 10 seconds before the hour. The place was Ward B, 32/4 on the grid. Stick fell from roof of terminal department store.
Roger. Go ahead.
No punishment. Registration unnecessary. Over.
Roger. Registration unnecessary.
Request information on next assignment.
6 minutes, 24 seconds from now, in Ward B, 32/8, on the grid. Over.
That would put us somewhere behind the station.
Roger, 32/8.
Good luck on your mission. Over.
Roger, thanks a lot. Oh, and if my wife calls, would you mind telling her I forgot to leave the key to my locker?
You're hopeless. Well, this is the last time. Over.
Roger, thanks a lot.
Roger.
So, that's how you do it in short.
Thank you. I think I understand now.
What's the matter? You look kind of down in the mouth.
Oh, it's nothing really.
Well, shall we say goodbye to our stick somewhere around here?
We're just going to throw it away? Just
Of
like that?
course. That's regulation. It's a pretty handy size, and as far as sticks go, it's a pretty good specimen. It could be used for the handle of a placard. What do you think you're doing?
It's too cruel.
Cruel?
We should give it to the child. Don't you think that's the least we can do? As long as-
Don't talk nonsense. A stick is a stick, no matter who has it.
But it's something special to that child.
Why?
At least it ought to serve as a kind of mirror. He can examine himself and make sure he doesn't turn into a stick like his father.
Examine himself? Why should anyone who's satisfied with himself do something like that?
Was this stick satisfied with himself?
Don't you see? It was precisely because he was so satisfied that he turned into a stick in the first place.
Just supposing this stick could hear what we have been saying.
Of course I can hear.
I have no specific information myself, since it's quite outside my own specialty, but scholars in the field have advanced the theory that they can, in fact, hear what we're saying.
How do you suppose he feels to hear us talk this way?
Exactly as a stick would feel naturally. Assuming, of course, that sticks have feelings. There's no room for arguments. A stick is a stick. That simple fact takes precedence over problems of logic. Come now. Come now! Put the stick back where it was. Our next assignment is waiting for us.
But why must we go through the motions of whipping a dead man this
We are
way?
not particularly concerned with the dead. Our job is to record their lives accurately. You know, it is extremely dubious whether or not we in fact exist.
What do you mean by that?
There is a theory that we are no more than the dreams that people have when they are on the point of death.
If those are dreams, then they are terrible nightmares.
That's right.
Then they can't be satisfied. Satisfied people having nightmares, that's a terrible contradiction, isn't it?
Perhaps it might be described as the moment of doubt that follows satisfaction. In any case, what's done is done. We have to hurry. We have exactly 3 minutes. If we're late, there'll be hell to pay later on. Don't worry. You'll get used to it before long. I was the same way. Sometimes you get confused by the false fronts that people put on. But once you realize that a stick was a stick, even while it was still alive.
Is the next person going to turn into a stick too?
It'd be nice if we got something a little more unusual this time.
What do you suppose those kids from earlier will turn into?
Those hippies?
They didn't seem much like sticks, did they?
If they don't turn into sticks, they'll probably end up turning into rubber hoses or something.
Satisfied? Me? Stupid fools! Would a satisfied man run away from his own child and jump off of a roof?
The sky, the color of a swamp, cloudy with disinfectant. On the cold, wet ground, another man has turned into a stick.
He has been verified but not registered. He is shut up inside the shape of a stick. He is not unlucky, so he must be happy.
But I wonder, what would it be better to turn into than a stick? The one thing someone in the whole world is bound to pick up is a stick.
He has been verified but not registered. He's been shut up inside the shape of a stick. He can't so much as budge, and that's a problem.
Supposing he starts to itch somewhere, what will he do? How will he fare?
I'm afraid a stick would probably lack the talent needed to scratch its own back.
But anyway, you mustn't mind. There are plenty more of your kind.
Look, there's a whole forest of sticks around us. All those innocent people. Each one determined to turn into a stick slightly different than everyone else, but no one ever thinking of changing into anything besides a stick. All those sticks. You may never be judged, but at least you don't have to worry about being punished. Look, I don't want you to think I'm telling these things just to annoy you. Surely you wouldn't think I'd be capable of such rudeness, heaven forbid. It's just the simple truth. The truth as I see it.
Yes, you're not alone. You've got lots of friends. Men who turned into sticks.